Before I get started with this one, I just want to say thanks to everyone who took some time to comment on my last video. It was cool to see your thoughts about what was going on, and it'd be interesting to see what your songwriting process is. So leave a comment and let me know. I'm curious. Maybe I'll even learn something new, which is always a good thing, right? Anyway, last week I basically went through my process of how I take a nearly hour-long just practice session that I recorded and edit it down so that there are usable parts. Today I'm going to just kind of go into the next step of the process of what I do anyway when I'm trying to come up with song ideas. That's kind of it. So today I'm just going to jump back into Reaper. I'll talk about how I use regions to organize usable sections, as well as, I don't know, wherever else this goes, but yeah, check it out. Okay, so here I have the track that I had edited down last week, and you'll see that I've created regions here. Now they're not color coded, so that's something that I'm going to do next. And I'm going to code them right now by similar parts. What I'll also end up doing is just start to delete things that I don't want to use. Either they were not interesting riffs or they were not well played, which is more often the case. So I remember from listening earlier that this section, I don't know about this one. So these three sections are an identical riff. So I'm going to go ahead and hit edit, set color. I'm just going to use the very first color here. By the way, I'm colorblind, so I'm not even going to try to name colors. I guess that's red. And it's funny because when it shows up here, it does not look the same to me. So I don't know why this looks so different than this, but maybe it doesn't. My wife right now is for sure laughing at me. Okay, so I've broken everything up into color-coded regions now. Now I'm going to next take out what just sounds like crap. What I just know that I'm not going to use. I hit play before I finish that sentence. Okay, I realized that I forgot to make this its own separate region. It's a similar riff to the one before, but with a variation in it, which could be musically interesting and maybe inspiring in some way. Okay, so I think right now what I'll do is take the riffs that are sort of talking to me the loudest and try to rearrange those in some way. Alright, I set up a hotkey so that I can just open up the playlist menu. So what I do is I don't know. Untitled 1, how's that? So creative. Alright, so I need to add these regions, add all regions. And what's cool about this is I can drag and drop regions so that you can get a sense for how they feel in a certain order. This is entirely too long, but I've already narrowed it down from 11 minutes and change, and still it doesn't make sense really, but it's starting to take some kind of shape, and it's illogical in terms of a song. It doesn't really tell much of a story yet. There isn't much of a story arc, as I was kind of talking about in my last video. So this is where I need to kind of see it all out together, right? So what I'll do is select all these regions. Later on, I'll actually name these regions so that they resemble the parts of a song, but not yet, because I got shit to do here. So first I need to position my cursor so that I have a bit of space between the old stuff and the new. So I've got all these selected here in my region playlist. I'm going to paste selected regions at edit cursor. Boom. I'm going to close this window and look at that. There's a reordered version of what I just created. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to save a new version of this project. And then you'll see it's now Songwriting _1. That allows me to preserve some of the stuff that I deleted in case I get, I second guess myself. I have second doubts, however that's said. See, that's pretty boring. Really digging that part. I like the riff here, but I really need to learn to play it tighter. I'm going to leave it in here just because I don't want to forget it. Might take this just because I'm starting to feel the tempo of the song now. I'm starting to feel maybe what this song's energy is. You have to surrender a lot of control when you're writing anything. You have to let ideas come out whenever they do and capture them as they do before you forget them. And with a song, you have to let the song kind of talk to you. You have to let the song tell you what kind of song it is, like what kind of feel it has. And part of this is making hard decisions about editing out parts that you might like, but just don't fit with the energy. And sometimes you go into it thinking it's going to feel one way, and then what you wind up discovering is that it actually feels a totally different way. And that's kind of what's happening right now with this one for me. I was thinking originally that I would balance these high energy parts with these really low parts. Not really low, but more subdued parts. But I'm finding that I'm just getting bored when I listen to the subdued parts in between the energetic parts. So I think I'm going to just try to keep the energy up a little bit in this one, and still try to keep it dark, which is just the way I write. And then at the end here, I'm trying to bring it back to the opening riff. So I've got that there, now I've got it here. And the other thing is that this is just the composing part. This is all part of the creative process right here. So I'm not worried at this point about how well or poor I'm playing. I'm not worried about necessarily all the transitions between the parts. All that stuff can be refined as the process goes. And that's the whole idea with revision, is that the word revision means to see again. R-E, the prefix, to do again. Vision, sight. So when you revise something, you look at it again. And it doesn't mean that you completely change it. It might, It doesn't mean that you add things, but it might. It just depends. Sometimes it means subtracting things. It means all kinds of stuff. But the idea is to continually try to chip away at what you've got until you have something that starts to feel cohesive. Okay, so a little house cleaning here. I'm going to, okay, so I'm going to delete all this from the original project. All right, so right now I've whittled it down to about 4 minutes, which is starting to become a manageable length. Okay, so I've narrowed it down to this roughly 4 minutes of something, and I'm just gonna play through it. All right, so here's that part that I've been kind of agonizing. I'll use this in a different song and probably revisit it and do a lot of reworking and try to play it decently. So how does this transition out? How does this transition work now that I've taken that piece out? All right, so now we're down to about 3 minutes, 40 seconds or so. I'm thinking of doing a little copying and pasting here just because I think it'd be kind of cool to go dun 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 bah, you know, as kind of an ending. And this will all tie it back together to... So the idea would be bah. Yeah, okay. All right, so I have this mostly unified whole. There are clearly things that I need to smooth out. I can work out some transitions a little better. All of this is scratch because ultimately when I record this, my preference will be to play each part all the way through live. That's sort of a goal I'm trying to make with this song. It's something I've done in the past, but I'm trying to also improve my playing to the point where I can get a really high quality performance and I don't know, just see where it goes. So that's where I'm at right now. So I think I'm going to close this video out here and then make a separate video where I try to create parts to accompany what I already have established here. And now that it's starting to take more of the arc of a song, it's not there yet, but it's really close. I think, depending on what I'm able to do with it, it could be kind of fun or interesting to see how that process works. At any rate, thanks for checking it out, and see you in the next one.